Okay, there's so much gel in my hair. December 20th. I feel weird. Okay, I have this idea at work. Oh yeah, so I was going over one of my dreams, and I'm always praying for my gift of dream interpretation to grow. And I realized there was more data. Well, there's always more data, but I realized there's more data. When I saw Lindsey, I saw her spirit, and she has a helper spirit, which means she's made out of wife material. And then I saw mine, and I have a gift of a worker spirit, which means I'm made out of husband material. So that was kind of cool. Let's see. Dream, I was in school. I was taking a bus, driving to church, and I was confused as to why I was in college. Because I've graduated from college. But in the dream, I was in college, and I was like, what? No, I'm not in college. And I knew I had one semester left and one that was like 3/4 left. And so I thought, a semester and 3/4? I thought, okay, so maybe I'm married within 3 or 4 months, and then I'm living with, hypothetically, assuming she signs up for this, living with Lindsey within half a year. And that would kind of make sense because in my dream, we had our house built and set up by July 4th. So it's interesting because I'm hearing fireworks right now, and then we have fireworks at the end of this segment. So that was kind of cool. I was talking to a boy and girl on the bus. They were a little off-putting. I don't know if that's me and her. Because I had this idea where we could visit this. There's this prophet named Joe Dawson, and he lives kind of local to here. But it is a 6-hour drive, and I can do that just fine. But, 6 hours in the car with someone gives you enough time to get on each other's nerves. So I don't know how she does with long car rides. I imagine she's used to touring, but, who knows. I said, we probably also kind of have young spirits. We're kind of like 16 at heart, where you still believe in romance and love and cheerfulness. But I was also looking at, there's this like rust in the very cluster of her soul. So like I saw 3 layers to her soul, the joyous one that we all know and love, the one that's trying to solve big problems that drives her to like spend 10% of her profits on paying people's medical bills. And then I think there's a third one that maybe she isn't even quite aware of, other than knowing that she's agitated at probably not getting what she's called for in life. Because obviously she has a calling to be a mom and to be, what did she say, with her other half, with the love of her life. Things in her heart, personal feelings, they've never been worked, they've never been successful, so she's bitter. Potentially, this is kind of just hypothesis based on what I'm seeing with my gift of discernment. And I wrote, I'll help clean up the outer 2 layers, but the inner layer, reminds me of Shrek. Ogres are like onions. Onions! About a parfait. Nobody said I don't like no parfait. But the third one won't change until we're married. Because what she's looking for is a true bonded ship, where we're like bonded legally, spiritually, and spiritually. And I was in my friend Charity's house. That was really weird. There's these streets on the table. Oh, sweets on the table, like lifesavers. And what's funny is they're not lifesavers, but they're butterscotch candies. But the lifesavers with all the different fruity colors and flavors, you could say, is like the 9 fruits of the spirit. Love, joy, patience, peace. I don't know if mercy's one of them. I forget the rest. But this is the really interesting part. So normally when I eat Lifesavers, they're gummies, which is why I was confused why they're the hard candies, but these are hard candies. So this happens a lot where I'll get two kind of dreams at the same time, sharing space. Now this is interesting. She got mad and she's like, why are you eating those? Those are left out for me. And that's interesting. So that means at this point in time, our spirits are talking, because these, I got a bag of these and it was a Christmas gift for us to share. But when I didn't hear from her by Christmas and God said, you will walk and talk with Lindsey, look towards Christmas, I assumed by like Christmas Day I would have. And so it was a little depressing. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open that bag of candy and it'll be okay. Like, you got this. God's in charge of bringing you a spouse and giving you a happy, joyous life. And so I opened these. So it's interesting that I heard her spirit say that regarding now, which means if my calculations are correct, they almost always are, we should be soul stitched within a week from now. Anyways, let's see. I had a thought at work. Oh yeah, so when Jesus possesses you, he's like all love. And I was thinking about the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit and wondering if we each as humans have different proclivities towards certain, not the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Because God is all about love, and I like love, but I'm all about joy. I like joy. That's where I have the most affinity. Joy and mercy. Maybe gentleness after that. So I was just kind of wondering, maybe we should keep track of what we're pointed at. That might be kind of cool. This memory kept coming up, confronting me. Oh yeah, every now and then I get memories that just won't quit. And so I started asking God to unroot them. And he brought me back to this memory where I was helping my dad unroot a tree at a friend of my mom's house. So I'd go with him, but I was like 9. Like, I couldn't do a lot before I get tired. And I would try, but it would get old and boring. And I was playing with a dog and I'd try and help again. It took like 2 hours. It was like a really long time. But God was pointing out, like, as long as you show up, like, that counts. As long as you show up, it matters. Like, I'll do the hard work, but you need to spend time with me. And I was like, that is so fair. I'm okay with that. So this was another one. I had a dream where Lindsey was introducing me to her peers, her friends. And she goes, this is Josh. He's hard to get along with, but you'll get used to it. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was thinking, what do you mean I'm hard to get along with? I am so nice. I'm like, I have a lot of confrontation towards really antagonistic people. Like, people who are really pushy and blockheaded. I match their energy level when I debate them. And so I was like, okay, think. Think. That's what Winnie the Pooh says. Think. And then he goes, oh, Baba. It's like, okay, at this time in life, she would have had my gift of discernment now. So she'd know what she was talking about and probably be seeing something I'm not seeing. What would she be seeing that I'm not seeing? Just like they say, to a carpenter, every problem is a nail. Since I kind of am big on spiritual warfare and I spend a lot of my time confronting hypocrisy and hostile nonsense people, maybe I'm too combative outside of that. Maybe I need to tone it down. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I switched gears completely and I'm like, okay, new rule. If they're not hostile and it's not spiritual warfare, like, bring it down to 0. And so that was interesting. Like, what she said in the future that I received spiritually, I was able to adjust key components of my personality, because, like, that's what you do for your friends who point out your flaws. Oh, Dashing Man. So I saw the way I show up. I was very confused. Like in the dream, I come out of the shower and I'm not wearing, I just have shorts on, and but it's not me. It's like this dashing, like manly man, like, you know, the bare knuckled boxers pictures you'd see. And I was like, why do I look like that? And I'm like, oh, this must be what I look like to her the first time she sees me, or after she's anyways, I was like, okay, if that's how she sees me, that's actually pretty awesome. Because I was worried. I was like, how's she gonna see me? Oh, and then I had another dream. She was in my living room playing with my roommate's dog, and they were so comfortable with each other, it felt completely real. So that was cool. Like, obviously you'd want your potential wife to be calm in your normal lifestyle, and she was calm. So I was like, oh, okay, this is going great. Anyway, I love you guys. It is 1 hour and 15 minutes to midnight, and then we'll go from there.